And Merce, this is a club that I mentioned right at the start, that since Sir Alex Ferguson left with their last Premier League title nearly 13 years ago now, the club has been in this almost perpetual drift. And it's continued into this season. Amorim's now gone. So for the interim, at least, for you, is he the right man to now bring in till the end of the season?
Only time will tell. You just don't know. This could be an absolute success. You go, oh, what a masterstroke this was. Or you could start saying again, oh, why do Man United keep on doing what they're doing? Keep on bringing in someone just to cover over the cracks for another 6 months to get someone else in. So I hope it works for him. I hope it works for him.
Do you think it will work for him?
He started by changing the team. I think that's the one thing. I think there's a saying in life, you know, you keep on doing the same things over and over again, get the same results. It's insanity. And that's what's been going on there. Do you know, that's what Amorim was doing. He's kept on playing free at the back, keep on getting the same results, madness. He's come in. For me, I think he's shown double respect for Man City, and rightly so, because of the position they're in. You know, playing Dogu and Darlow on the wings, they're only getting back to double up. They're just doubling up to make Semenyo and Doku ain't running at the fullbacks all day. That's why they're playing. So I think he's shown a lot of respect to Man City, and rightly so. You know, it's not the old Man United. This is a Man United that have to show teams respect now.
But also, you need to bring in someone, Tim, even if it is only till the end of the season, who's got a bit of steel about him. He had that very short spell in charge previously. He wasn't afraid, when Ronaldo was still at the club in his second spell, to drop him ahead of a big game. He's decided today that Cunha and Sesko are on the bench because of the way he's set up. Yeah. He's clearly not a man who's afraid to make the big calls. That's a positive thing, is it not, going forward for the rest of the season?
It is if he gets the results.
If it works, yeah.
But it's obviously, I think it's a brave one to leave out Cunha. I mean, Dorgu for me is not the answer. I understand why he's in there on the defensive issues, you know, to run back. You can get anyone to do that, in all due respect. I think Cunha's a little bit different. They're going to need to keep possession of the ball. They can't keep turning it over, even though they're going to be very low block and just try and defend their box and make it difficult for Man City. You're going to need, in the end, to take some pressure off your defence and keep the ball, and I think Cunha would help you do that more than Dorgu would. But, you know, I might be wrong. I'm pleased he's got the opportunity to go in there. I think it was a no-brainer.
I don't think Cunha gets back. I don't think Cunha gets... I think Mount gets back.
Yeah.
I think Mount... I don't think Cunha's running back, in my opinion. I don't think he goes back to the 18-yard box. No. Plus, you don't want him there, do you?
No.
You want him on the other end
exactly.
of the
I
pitch.
think Michael knows he's played as many games as we have in the league. He knows that, in the end, you're going to need to keep possession. And you put people in the positions where they're going to play their best. There's no point playing Cunha there if he just wants to double up on the fullback, and that's obviously what he wants to do today.
And he's played over 450 times for the club, Sue, we shouldn't forget, as a player. 5 Premier League titles along the way, won the Champions League as well. It is part of the thinking behind this appointment as well, to kind of reconnect the team with the fans as well.
Yeah, it could be. And, you know, you look at... It is a short term, you would presume. I know that nobody's officially come out and said that, but you would suspect it is until the summer when there's more managers become available. But, yeah, he knows the club. Like you say, he's played for the clubs. He's played for the club. It would increase that connection with the fans. But they could have gone down different routes, couldn't they? I think, obviously, the first route they could have gone down and gone for that absolute elite manager with a proven track record that has got the know-how of winning trophies, but are they available at this moment in time? So they'd probably wait until the summer for that. They then could have gone with somebody with Premier League experience. I know, you know, Iriola was linked, Marco Silva was linked. There was a lot of Glasner was linked. Or they've gone for the third option, which is obviously the Manchester United link and the Manchester United connection that can bring the fans back on side. So yeah, hopefully it does work. I think the people that he's brought in and around him should help him and help him sort of in this interim period. But if he does a really, really good job, it's a bit of a problem then, isn't it, for Manchester United? What do you do? Do you keep him on?
That's the fascinating question, isn't it, Dors? Because we saw what happened with Eric Ten Hag. He was on the verge of going, wins the FA Cup, gets a new contract, he stays, gets a load of money to spend, and ends up going out the door. So if the Sue says, listen, they're only 3 points off the top 4 heading into today's game, they're absolutely in the race for a Champions League place next season as things stand. If they get a Champions League spot come the end of the season, it's the only thing left up for grabs for United out of the cup competitions. What do they do then?
Well, it's the million-dollar question. Do they, in my opinion, do they go down the same route that they've done with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, Erik ten Hag, when it looked like he was out the door and won the FA Cup? I think they have got this time, and Michael Carrick has 17 games, and at the end of that, they will say thank you very much, regardless of what he does, because they've got time to go and find this right manager, and I believe they would be doing that. I think one of the managers who will come in, he's in a job at this moment in time, whether it be at the World Cup, whether it be in the Premier League. But what Michael Carrick can do, he can only focus what's ahead of him. And I listened to his interview there with Gary Neville. His demeanour, his calm, his presence. And I played with Michael Carrick when I first went to Spurs, and that's him in a nutshell. He's very calm, and people have questioned maybe some of the coaches he's brought in. None whatsoever. Every one of those coaches that's gone through that door has got a role to play. He's brought Stephen Holland in. The experience, the know-how. He's been in and around. He's been at big football clubs in Chelsea and done really, really well. He's been at international level, done well. He's brought Jonathan Woodgate in, who we worked with at Middlesbrough. See him there walking up Martinez and Maguire. People say, Johnny Evans, he's never coached. Johnny Evans knows these players. He was there at the end of last season and left. He knows the football club. This is a short term and he needs a response.
But Roy Keane's point, which
yes.
he made very, very, very strongly in the live coverage a short time ago, I'm sure it's all over social media at the moment, he just simply doesn't have the coaching experience. Yes, you can know the club. That's not enough, though, is it?
It's a role, Simon. They all have a role to play. We all have a role here to play. That is what Johnny Evans will be going in and doing that. And people say, oh, is he needed? He knows these players. Michael will be leaning on him to go, give me a little bit of insight to all the players and help him. Is he going to be doing loads of coaching? Probably not. He's got no experience in that. But he has a role to play in
Steve Holland's a shrewd move, though, isn't he?
Very shrewd, because I've just said, he's been there, he's worked at big clubs, he's worked on international levels, he knows how he will be helping Michael. Give Michael credit. He's worked at Middlesbrough and people go, it's not Manchester United. Of course it's not. It's in the Championship. But he's got an affiliation with Manchester United, and that's why he's been given the opportunity. And for Michael to go in there and try and galvanise his team. You've just said the 3 points off the Champions League places, and it could be a success for him, but I don't see it as long-term.
And Tim, coming back to that point about were they to finish inside the top four, where does that leave him come the end of the season? Do you sense he'll already know where he stands, whatever happens come the end of the season?
Absolutely. It's the first question you would ask as you go in there and speak to Jason Wilcox and Omar, and just say, am I here? If I win the 17 games that are remaining, am I here beyond that? And they... Listen, I think it'd be fluffy of them to say, let's just see how it goes. I think Michael will know that he's not getting a job at the end of the season. Man United will go in a different direction. It is probably going to be one of the managers who are managing in the World Cup. The problem any manager has got, we keep saying manager, they want a head coach. They do not want a manager at this football club. And the likes of Thomas Tuchel, for instance, Mauricio Pochettino, they want to be managers of the football club. They want to run the whole shebang. I'm not sure going to get that luxury at Manchester United, so they're going to be on the lookout for a head coach. Going back to the credentials of Michael Carrick, I think he's far more equipped to manage Man United than Ruben Amorim was. Ruben Amorim come from Portugal. Yes, he did very well in Sporting Lisbon, but it's a Mickey Mouse league compared to the Premier League. This is a very competitive environment, which Michael Carrick, we talked about his playing credentials, what he's done at Manchester United, over 400 games for this club. He knows the Premier League. He knows the environment. He hasn't got settled to the environment. He knows how huge this football club is. So I think it was a no-brainer to bring him in on the short term. And I think he 100% knows that he's not going to be here for the long haul.
Do you agree with that, Merce, that he has got more experience than Amorim has in terms of English leagues? We saw what he did at Borough, particularly that first season when he took over from Chris Wilde. I think they were 21st at the time, and he took them roaring up the league with 13 wins in his first 17. Is that a key part of why they've gone for Carrick? OK, Premier League head coaching, managerial experience, not there, but he knows the English leagues, he knows the Championship, he has got English coaching experience.
And he knows the club. He knows the club. And that's why Johnny Evans is there. He's there because he played for the club, Man United. You don't want to bring people... It's so different playing for Man United and your Arsenals, your Man Cities, your Liverpools, your Chelseas, to this end of the table. And in Portugal, they're a lot more dominant. Sporting and Porto and Benfica. But when you get into European trophies, they don't produce in the Champions League, or they haven't for a long time. So... They know what it's like. And too many times they brought players in here. And I heard him say, sometimes they bring players in that are not winners. You've got to be a winner. You've got to win every game. If Man City beat Newcastle... If Man City... I don't want to put Newcastle in it because Newcastle are a big club. But if Man City go and play... If Bournemouth go and play someone next week and they get beat 3-0 by Man City, nothing said. even though we don't think Man United are great, if they get beat 3-0 today, this is headline news. You know, see, it's a massive advantage for Carrick and for Johnny Evans. With the players, he's played here, it's experience. You don't want to be coming here and going, oh, my God, this is a lot bigger, this club. Oh, my God, we only lost 1-0 to Man City and we get absolutely destroyed. Sounds-so got beat 2-0 last week at Newcastle, owned by them, and nothing was said. So I can see where they're coming from. And, you know, it might not be experience of management in a way of, if they lose 6 on the trot, then it's a different game. For all the experience he's had at Middlesbrough.
You listen to him there, that is him in a nutshell. As a player, as a person, he will always be like, I'll just say to Sue, he's level-headed. I think
I might be like that in the camera, but if you've lost 6 games on the trot and you're sitting in your office...
But he wouldn't be showing his hands. He wouldn't show his hands. I'm telling you, he's perfect fit for Manchester United.
I'm sure Tim went in at Aston Villa and thought, I went in at Walsall thinking I'd be a little bit cool. I'd sit there, lose 6 on the trot, and I'm like, ah!